Joining me now is White House Director of Legislative Affairs, Marc Short. Marc, the president, because he tweeted and talked about this record-breaking run in the stock market so much, has put all of you folks working at the White House in a pickle in the sense that you're now forced to talk about the stock market. When in past administrations, you could talk about the economy, but generally stayed away from those kind of day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month swings in stocks.
Well, I guess the way we look at it is the markets are up over 30%, as you heard Secretary Mnuchin say, since Election Day. Over $7 trillion in asset value added to individuals' portfolios since Election Day. The reality is unemployment's at a 17-year low. The economy is growing strong. And in fact, the Atlanta Fed estimated a 5.4% on GDP. That sort of growth triggers inflation expectations. And I think what you're seeing is simply a reaction from the market to those expectations of higher inflation. But that's not necessarily a bad thing when you consider that wages have been stuck and stagnant for so long, particularly throughout the Obama years, and people are actually seeing higher wages today. And so there's just a market recalibration going. But as Sarah said from the podium, the fundamentals of the economy remain strong.
I'll just point out the Atlanta Fed adjusted that growth expectation down to 4%. That's still a very strong growth number.
Yeah, but during the Obama years, it averaged 1.8% GDP growth. I think we'll take a 4% growth. We'd be pretty excited about that.
That's in one quarter. Now, listen, some people are calling for 4% growth for the whole year. Jamie Dimon has said that to Maria Bartiromo. But are you going to try and back away from talking about the stock market? Have you had any discussions with the president about, let's stick to the economy, let's stick to the wage growth, let's stick to how people feel at home and their pocketbooks being more full because of the tax reform, rather than talking about a market that could be in for greater swings, certainly in the coming years, than we've seen this very low volatility environment in the last couple of years?
Sure, I think that's fair. We would expect higher volatility throughout this year, but at the same time, I think the president's proud of the gains and the turnaround in the market, just as he's excited about the turnaround for Main Street Americans, too. When they see 4.1% unemployment at a 17-year low, when they see the economy growing, the last couple quarters averaging 3%, as I said, significantly better than 1.8% they experienced during 8 years of the Obama administration. I think he's gonna tout all those successes.
There was some we've been talking about volatility, and that just means swings, but a lot of investors, even retail investors, have been betting on stable markets or betting against volatility the last couple of years. And with some of these exchange-traded products, there were a couple of major ones, one run by Credit Suisse that shut down on Tuesday because essentially all the money in them, a few $1 billion, was wiped out late on Monday. It kind of begs the question of how were retail investors, did they know what was going on? How were these things allowed to exist if they were so volatile? Is that something that you think that securities regulators should look at?
I think that the president has a great team at Treasury and SEC that look at that. I'm not expecting any sort of legislation on that front, which is more my focus area, Dagan. So I think that sure, there's a continued oversight of that. But if there's a greater volatility this year, I think the reality is that the fundamentals remain strong. The president has continued to roll back the regulatory front. He's going to continue to make sure that there's tax relief provided to the American people, and we hope that the economy continues to grow the way it has been.
Well, let's talk about Capitol Hill, because there's a budget battle to talk about, and a government that, if they can't come to some agreement, is going to shut down at midnight on Friday morning. The House did approve another stopgap spending bill yesterday. The Senate looking to strike a longer-term deal, boosting spending for both domestic and military programs, but branching away from immigration efforts, so trying to separate that immigration fight from a funding bill. President Trump reasserted his focus on immigration, saying this at the White House yesterday.
If we don't change it, let's have a shutdown. We'll do a shutdown, and it's worth it for our country. I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of.
What do you expect the budget outcome to be, Marc? And will the president, would he get behind this spending bill that's being put together in the Senate if it separates immigration from it?
So it's a good question. There's a couple things there. One, keep in mind the president campaigned on rebuilding our military. The budget cap deal that we expect to be announced perhaps as soon as today, I think will provide the deliverance on the president's commitment to rebuild our military. You'll see significant reinvestment there. And I think that's one of the priorities that he said. I do not expect a shutdown right now. I think what the president's looking ahead to is the budget cap deal will put in place higher caps on defense spending that will allow the appropriators to then go write the bill that'll come to the president's desk probably at the end of March on spending for 2018. What he's saying, once again, is the same pledge he's made all along, which is he's expecting Congress to deliver on the promises we made on the campaign that we would invest in border security. And he's going to hold Congress's feet to the fire on that. And if they're not going to deliver on that border security, he's saying he's okay taking that extra step. But we're not expecting a shutdown this week. We are expecting a budget cap deal to be in place, and we're expecting it to be a victory on the president's commitment to rebuild our military.
I'll say that the Senate deal, the two-year budget deal that's being pursued by senators, it actually, military spending comes in at $629 billion a year, which is above the amount that the president sought in his budget proposal to Congress last year. It also increases non-defense spending. So combined, $80 billion extra for defense, $63 billion extra for non-defense. That comes in at $143 billion. If somebody is worried about debt deficits and higher inflation, are you okay with that?
I think that there are concerns about the deficit spending on this front. Let me go back to the premise of your question, though, is that Secretary Mattis also said to Congress that he wants to see the numbers stick to the NDA level, the National Defense Authorization Act, that had it at the 629 number plus 71 billion in overseas contingency operations to bring it up to about 700 billion for the year. So that is the number that the Secretary had asked for. But I think that regarding the deficits, keep in mind that you'll see the president put forward a budget that will cut spending when it comes forward next week. The challenge will be, though, is just like last year, the president put forward a budget that balanced in 10 years, and yet Congress then summarily dismissed it. So we do have serious concerns about the deficits, and we do think that Congress should do a stronger job of being responsible to taxpayers incurring those deficits.
Real quick, Mark, are we going to get some big infrastructure announcement on Monday?
You're going to see the infrastructure announcement rolled out, and we're expecting it on Monday. The president spoke about it some in the State of the Union. We do expect that you'll see greater detail of those plans coming forward on Monday.
Mark, good to see you. We covered a lot of ground. Thank you so much, Marc Short from the White House.